Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hope this is a great day for you. It is for me. I am so grateful to God for everything that He's done, doing, will do. Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. Oh, isn't it a beautiful, beautiful day? Yes, it is. We're going to suppose to have some more rain, but I am just grateful for the rain. I am grateful for the rain. How about you? And I know that we have, of course, we know how the weather gets sometimes. We know if some people get too much rain, some don't get enough, some get just enough. But I'm praying for everyone that we get the rain that's just what we need. And I thank the Lord for that too. Praying for safety and protection for everyone out here in this world. Oh, yes. Certainly, certainly, certainly. Okay. Do you pay attention to how people say your name and not just pronunciation? That can be aggravating too when people mispronounce your name. Oh, yes, it can. But when they deliberately do it and they do it in a spiteful way, that's another issue also. And then, not only, like I said, not only the pronunciation, but the tone that they use when they say your voice. And sometimes it could be more than tone, just like my name. And I use Shirley Polk Davis. I use Shirley Polk. Polk is my maiden name, and that's what I use most of the time now. And so when I tell people this is my name, this is what I intend for you to call me. Don't be spiteful. Don't try to tell me what you're going to call me. It's all about what I want you to address me as, okay? And that should be with anyone. But a name is very important. My name, each one is very important to me, and I am so thankful for God giving me this subject. What do you feel when someone calls your name a certain way? What do you feel? And this is being.com. What do you feel when a person calls your name a certain way? The way someone calls you by your name can evoke a range of emotions, from excitement and recognition to discomfort and emotional distress. Exactly what I'm talking about. Here are some common feelings associated with name calling. And the thing is that, and I'm going to give some examples. So I'm going to say they call me Shirley, Shirley Polk. You hear that? Shirley Polk? You hear that? Shirley Polk. You hear that? Shirley Polk. You hear that? Shirley Polk. You hear that? Those are four, I think it's four, maybe five different ways that I use that I could be addressing. Each one of those ways gives me a certain emotion. It depends on how they say your name. I know it does to me. And if I tell you that I want to be addressed a certain way, that's the way I expect you to address me, and I expect you to respect me in that manner. and respect my desires and my preferences. But some people, I have had to deal with some people about my name. And I have used my maiden name. I've used it for years. I never let my maiden name go. It's always whatever my last name ends up being, my maiden name is always in there because that is my identity, my major identity. Okay? And I am proud of my name, Polk. So I'm just saying that. And I've had to almost, verbally tussle with people about saying my name the way I want you to say it. What I'm saying, say if I say I'm Shirley Polk, I want you to address me as that, then you don't have any right to try to address me as anything else. And I don't have any right to try to address you as someone else. Okay, that's my spiel on that. So it can bring up a range of emotions and how a person says your name. And you need to watch that. Hello, Wanda. Thank you so much for listening and being here with me. Thank you. It really makes a difference in how people say your name. And if you listen, you will hear how different people say your name, and you can read in between there, and you can catch that emotion in the way they're saying your name. Okay, you can do that. So, it brings out a range of emotions. It could be from excitement, depending on Shirley Polk. That's exciting. Shirley Polk. Shirley Polk. Like that. That's not so exciting, okay? That could be discomfort. And sometimes it could bring emotional distress if you say, I wonder why she said my name like that. I wonder why they said my name like that. So I know you understand exactly what I'm saying. So here are some common feelings associated with name calling: recognition and attention. Recognition and attention. Let me get all this here so I can go down the line. This is very important to me because I've gone through this, and even now sometimes. And just not too long ago, somebody said my whole name, and it, and I'm thinking I haven't, that hasn't left me yet. It's the way the person said it while addressing me, okay? Now, recognition and attention. When someone calls you by your name, it often signifies that they are aware of you and want to engage with you. This can be a positive sign of familiarity and social interaction. Then here's the emotional impact. So that first one was recognition and attention. This is bing.com. And emotional impact, the tone, you hear me? The tone and context of the name calling can affect how you feel. For instance, a friendly name call can make you feel warm and included, while a harsh name call can evoke feelings of insecurity and discomfort, or it could be both of them. It really does. It really makes a difference in how they say your name. I remember one time we were somewhere, and this was decades ago, and a lady addressed my husband and me separately, even though we were together. Miss, and what my last name was then. And then she looked at him, Mr., and said his last name too. But she addressed us separately. And usually when we see a couple or we're around a couple, Mr. and Mrs. But she made it a point to address us separately. Oh, yeah. And it was intentional too. It was very intentional. So, trust and trustworthiness, using your name can indicate that someone trusts you and is comfortable with your identity. Conversely, If someone uses a derogatory name, it may suggest a lack of trust or respect. Okay? Identity and self perception. The name you are called by can be a reflection of your identity and self perception. A name that is often used can help others see you as a person, while a name that is not used may lead to confusion about your identity. And my people at home in Denison in the Sherman area and people who grew up with me, they are familiar with my maiden name. I keep my maiden name for familiar purposes. People here in the Dallas area and other areas, they know me as Sister Davis, but I use Shirley Polk Davis so people can specify and separate me from other people with the name Shirley Davis. You understand? And so there are reasons. There are reasons. So while a name that is not used may lead to confusion about your identity, that's why I use my maiden name. So whenever people hear that, they can think about me, okay? All right, because I use both of them. All right. Now, social dynamics. The way someone addresses you can also reflect the social dynamics of the situation. Didn't I tell you? In a professional setting, a name call may be expected, while in a casual setting, it might be more appropriate to use a nickname or informal greeting. Good afternoon, Lady Patsy. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Now, next is understanding. These feelings can help you navigate social interactions more effectively and respond in ways that align with your comfort level and intentions. And I was somewhere, it was a few weeks ago, and a person was up talking, and they said a name that's very dear to me, of a person that's very dear to me. But that person said it like in a condescending way. And I haven't forgotten that yet. I have not forgotten it yet because the way the person said the name. And it was disrespectful because he didn't address it in a respectful way. And I don't know, I didn't like it, don't like it, still don't like it. The way the person did. And it was disrespectful. It was. It was. So, and then also, have you ever been around? Well, I know you have people who have blatantly, uh, let me see, used, well, I would say it's a form of disrespect. I remember when Elder Davis and I were married to each other, and people were learning that we were married to each other. So one lady came to me, and I told her who I married. Oh, that's who you married. I haven't forgotten that either. Now, I'm not saying that I am, just upset about it and all that, but some things you do not forget. Some things you don't forget, and I believe you remember those things so that you can help yourself and somebody else in the future. Oh, that's who you married? She sure did say it. Oh, yeah, some people have the nerve. I'm telling you, what the way people address you and the tone they address you, it means something. It really, really does. And one thing about it is my name is very important to me. All of them. The Shirley, the Pope, the Davis. Yes, yes, they're very important to me. and I use them, and I use them at certain times for certain things. And that's the way it is. But people need to be careful at how they address people. And then it says something about other people too. Now I know I have to be careful too. I know I don't ever put things out there on other people and try to say that, I'm the perfect one and I always do it right. I try with everything in me to get it right all the time. But even the best of us slips up sometime. That's why the Lord told us to repent, just in case we messed up something. And if you know my prayer, I said, if there are any outstanding sins, please forgive them. That's what I say to the Lord, because I don't mean to hurt anybody, but I'm straightforward and I believe in telling the truth and I believe in helping someone else. Oh, yes, I do. So that trust and trustworthiness, I did that. Identity and self perception. The name you are called by can be a reflection of your identity and self perception. A name that is often used can help others see you as a person, while a name that is not used may lead to confusion about your identity. And then those social dynamics, we did that. So now I'll go to one of the I've chosen. I think I chose psychology today, and I have also chosen, huh, easy name change. I don't want to change your name. The emotional connection to our names, how names shape self esteem and worldview. And then I also have this. What is this? How mispronouncing names and the healing and the feeling of belonging. And has your name been mispronounced till it's till you say, now I know that they see how it's spelled. If they have a program or something, I know they've heard me say my name over and over again, and then they still mispronounce your name. That can be annoying. And even someone else's name. Well, I don't have too many people mispronounce my name. It's more like me getting them to call me the name that I want to be called by. And so, but anyway, you hear people that get up and there somebody ahead of them could properly pronounce a person's name. The ones they're talked about might be some honorees, and then a person to get right up behind them and mispronounce the person's name. And that to me is annoying. It like Helen Davis told me, Sister Davis, you suffer vicariously because I guess maybe that ain't even none of my business, but it's still annoying when people do that. Okay, now let me get on to this mispronouncing names and the feeling of belonging. Okay, let's go to this one. Mispronouncing names because that can be annoying, and I hear it so much, so often. People, I remember when I first they used to put a VIN on the last name, and it was a VERN, and I started saying, just pronouncing it, and finally, people I was around got it right. Got it right. Okay, whether in a classroom, workplace, or friendship group, if you're making enough effort to pronounce someone's name, you could be sending a message they are not welcome there. Okay? Whether in a classroom, workplace, or friendship group, If you are not making enough effort to pronounce someone's name, you could be sending a message they are not welcome there. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought of hello, Carol? So glad you're with me today. Thank you. Your name is the greatest connection you have with your identity and background, and it is so, so true. And we have, uh, there are people who have people in families that give the family name a bad reputation, and we understand that. And so what is it? One apple can spoil the whole barrel. Is that what it is? I think. And sometimes other people are unjustly judged because of the actions of someone else. So it's very important. It's very important. And people, that's why we are to seek out the individual. The individual. I remember God taught me a lesson. I was working, a lady we started to work with. I started to work with her. We were working together at our place of employment, and we were new to each other. So she came over to where I was and started working with me. And people that said she's this and she's that and she's this. And so when she came over and we got acquainted, first day the Lord told me, you learn her for yourself. This is what he said to me. All this stuff people had said about her, we became very good friends. Very good friends. And she supported me in the ministry. And when I opened my modeling class school, she was the first one there. We have to learn people for ourselves. There's so much in a name, but one person can spoil it for a whole family. But it depends on the mentality of the people around that family, too. And so we have to learn to individually recognize people for who they are, for the individual they are. So, whether in a classroom, workplace, or friendship group, if you're not making enough effort to pronounce someone's name, you could be sending a message that they are not welcome there. Your name is the greatest connection. I know I'm repeating this, okay? Your name is the greatest connection you have with your identity and background. And that's where I got off on that box, my little stand, talked about the importance of a name. So when someone remembers it, you feel valued. When someone mispronounces it continuously, you feel like you don't belong, or that they simply don't care about you enough to make an effort. And that's what I had to do. I had to tell you my name, and I've been going through this. My name, I've been using Shirley Polk Davis. I used my maiden name before Ella Davis and I got married with my last name then. And people know this. And when you tell them more than one time and then they continue to do that, I think something is wrong there. I really do. And it makes me begin to look at the people in a different light. So when someone mispronounces it continuously, you feel like you don't belong, or that they simply don't care about you enough to make an effort. And that's talking about mispronunciation, but I'm talking about even saying your name the way you want to be addressed. Okay? So name mispronunciation falls into a category of microaggressions. It appears often when someone says, your name is hard to pronounce, or I can't pronounce that, and then they simply move on. On the surface, these comments may seem trivial, maybe even comical, but the recipient can often feel insulted or irrelevant, in that environment. And so people need to take notice of these things. Some people are cold hearted, some people don't care, and some people just don't know and don't think about other people's feelings. So remember, the person with the unusual name is routinely trying hard to integrate, and such incidents can put up an invisible but altogether real barrier. Yes, it can. So the writer goes on to say, I've read many stories of people who have struggled with their names being butchered and anglicized. Many of them change their names or choose a nickname to be able to fit in, like Gerardo, whose fifth grade teacher, combined with the pressure to fit in as an immigrant, made him change his name to Lenny. My goodness, no, to Jerry. Excuse me. That's just as bad as Lenny, isn't it? Made him change his name. And we know about in the stories of this country, in the stories of other countries, how the people that call themselves being superior and they outnumber and go and invade other people's territories and their countries, like how they did here in the United States, how they went to Africa and brought our ancestors over here, part of our ancestors over here. We're so mixed. We're mixed with Native American, African, Indian, Eastern Indian. We're in just so many people. We are so mixed up, but we know, talking about how they invaded and brought people and then changed their names and punished them if they did not accept it as their name. And we don't know the story about, was it Kunta Kinte, how they named him Toby, and they had a hard time making him accept the name Toby. That's in Roots, and that's supposed to be a true story. So she made him change his name from Gerardo to Jerry, or Eugene Lee, who felt the impact of her name being mispronounced through her childhood and later in the workplace, and managed to find a creative way of belonging and helping people pronounce her name, and so many more people with the lasting impact of having their names mispronounced throughout different stages of their lives. And people will, your name can be just as simple as Pat, May, Mary, and some people will still mispronounce your name, and everybody doesn't do it intentionally. Some people have speech impediments and things like that, and that's understanding. Okay, so next is something that has recently also become evident in a story with Kamala Harris, where she faced jokes with her name being repeatedly mispronounced. She sent a remarkable signal on how important it is to master people's names. The effort for a correct name pronunciation demonstrates the sense of belonging. In this place, we make the effort. We say your name as you know it. Your name may be different equally to the many other differences we want to leverage and not change it. How about that? Wow. this is okay. And then the person said, I would like to share my 2 cents on all of that. And then this person says, my name is Joe Joe you, and it's spelled differently. And it said it's essentially the Portuguese version of John. In Brazil and Portugal, it's one of the most common names. Growing up in Brazil, I remember it being the most used generic example name. Teachers would use it in, at school, something like Joel. Joel has 3 apples and 2 oranges, and it's only 2 syllables. Joel. And I can't even say it. I need to have a pronunciation dictionary here for that. So excuse me, sir, but his name is Joao. Okay, and it has a symbol over the A. So now I'm going on down. Oh, here it's going to tell me how to pronounce it. Let's see. Joa. That's what it is. Joa. Joa. Okay. Hey, it's on here, Joa. I got it. However, moving around the world hasn't been easy on my name. It got butchered in many ways. Only after I started working abroad did I realize that hardly any of my colleagues would get the pronunciation right. Similar to millions of others in this situation, I faced the dilemma. Should I change my name and make it easy for others? Should I call myself Joe or John? And it's Joa. That's what he said. I got it. I was just talking about the pronunciation, wasn't I? It's right there. All I had to do was scroll just a little bit longer. So after answering these classic questions many times, do you have any nicknames I can call you? Do you have an English name? I realized I don't want to change my name. This is what he said, Joa. He said, my childhood friends know me as Joa, as my grandparents and all my family too. He said, it is the name I want my new friends and people I meet to know me as. And said, I've built my life image to that name. Joa is who I am. And I understand because I listened and watched a YouTube version of a lady talking about, she speaks different languages, so she was saying that sometimes it comes up to be a struggle, and you say your name, and in English it might be pronounced different than it is in Spanish, and so she was saying that you should make it easier for people to pronounce your name, and I understand that. There's some, I understand that, and so but like he is saying, you are, hey, let them make an effort to pronounce your name. Or if you want to shorten it, go ahead. That's your prerogative. But the lady was saying that her husband would always end up, it would be that he would tell them his name, his Spanish name, and it would end up taking a few minutes to try to get his name right with the person. She said, why don't you just say they can call you this, call you that. And so usually he ends up shortening his name. But I understand what this man is saying. That's my given name. So if you respect me enough, hey, try to pronounce my name properly or work on it somehow. So, hey, I do. Anyway, I do. Jennifer Gonzalez has enlightened me with some great definitions on the different types of mispronunciations in her article. Look at Fumble Mumbler. Someone that typically gets nervous when they meet you, they attempt. struggle, and may giggle, and then settle in for some close approximation. Arrogant mangler. These are some names, I guess, people that mess up your name. Is a normally completely oblivious of the fact they mispronounce your name. They would choose whatever and carry on with it. Perhaps giggle and say, don't know how to say that, then move on. And then there's a calibrator. They will listen, slow down, and attempt. Now, this might be me, but one thing about it, I respect other people's names. I definitely do. The calibrator, they will listen, slow down, and attempt. Okay? They may get it wrong, but they'll keep asking how to pronounce it and trying until they get it right. Yeah, that's me, a calibrator. They double check even if they think they got it right. That's who you want to be. And that's who I consider myself to be because I know how important it is to get a person's name right because I've been through that. And my name is not hard. It's just people is being stubborn and not wanting to comply with my desires of the name that I want to be called. But the other thing is that they want you to put their maiden name in on theirs. And they have it, saying it and everything, and then disrespecting because that's what I have been going as for decades. Now, at the same time as you get the manglers, you get the improvers, people that make an effort to say it right. As I started to make new friends, I noticed they cared about saying it correctly. They would put in the effort and they wanted feedback to know if they were improving. And see, that's the way it's supposed to be. And then we have this other section, say my name. Uh, there's a song like that, right? Say my name, say my name. Hey, those are all the words I know. I've created a tool, writers saying, say my name.io. And that's a site. It's a tool for people with the same struggle of wanting to keep their name but having it often mispronounced. You can send it to your friends and colleagues, and it will give you a score on how close they are from your name's perfect pronunciation. It's a tool for collaborators, and I'm going to put that on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it and then I'll put it in the comments, okay? That's what I'll do. And if I forget, please remind me, all right? All right, so I finished that, and that's easy. Say my name. Next, I'm going to, I guess you know that this really, it really bothers me when people deliberately mess my name up. Well, don't say my name like I want to. How do you feel about that? And then also when people say your name in a certain tone, do you ever pay attention to that? How they say your name? I do. I don't be looking for it, but we all have senses and we have common sense. And we hear things when they're not as they should be, or there's something different about it. And it's not picking, not any of that. It's just, hey, that's the way God made us, and I'm going to say that. I certainly am. Okay. The emotional connection to our names, how names shape self esteem and worldview. So this is, oh, it's the same. It's uh, the same site. So I haven't been to this site before, but I'm liking it. Easy name change.com. Easynamechange.com. Okay. I'm just so happy and so privileged. I thank God for blessing me to have this World Wide Web at my disposal. And I thank God that you are my friends and that you you support me, and I support you too. I really do. I enjoy it so much. Okay, here we go. Introduction. The deep personal meaning of names. A name is more than just a word. It's a core port of who we are, a core part of who we are. Yes, it is our name. And who's it? Pee Wee Herman? It's somebody's name. I can't think of it now. But anyway, it's a core part of who we are. Our name is, whether given at birth, chosen later in life, or inherited through tradition. Our names carry an emotional weight that influences how we see ourselves and how we relate to the world. And also, as I was talking earlier about some people giving their family name a bad reputation, some people change their name because of that too. Some people change their complete identity, and sometimes people have to do that. They do in order to escape all of that bad reputation and everything. For many people, their name is a source of pride, a reflection of family heritage, or a symbol of personal identity. But what happens when someone dislikes their name, struggles with mispronunciations, or faces bias based on the name? So, in this article, we explore the emotional connection people have with their names and how that bond can shape self esteem, confidence, and worldview. It really means something. Your name is very important. Very important. Mine is, why do we feel emotionally attached to our names? Number one, the psychological bond between names and identity. Names are often the first words we recognize as infants and the labels by which we interact with the world. Psychological research suggests that names serve as an anchor for self perception. According to identity theory, our names form a crucial part of our self schema, the mental framework through which we understand. I'm going to have to change this font here because I have a little symbol that's in my way and I need to get that straight. Okay, got it. Now, where did it go? Where did you go? Okay, I think I just changed and went to a different page, but this is very important to me. Okay, okay, I'm back on the right page now. Okay, Okay, I'm going to go back to this part right here. Psychological research suggests that names serve as an anchor for self perception. According to identity theory, our names form a crucial part of our self schema, the mental framework through which we understand who we are. And that's a study by Oyserman, Elmore, and Smith in 2012. Okay. Studies have found that when people hear their own names, the brain's reward center lights up. The centers of the reward, the brain, they light up. And this is another study by Carmody and Lewis in 2006. This suggests that names are deeply tied to emotional processing and personal significance, reinforcing a positive bond between names and identities. Number two, names and the sense of belonging. For many, names connect them to family, culture, and heritage. In cultures where names are passed down through generations, they serve as a link to the past, honoring ancestors and preserving traditions. This connection fosters a strong sense of belonging and pride. For example, in many African cultures, let me get this back up here. I've got to get this. Okay, let me get to this. Oh my goodness. Here I go. For example, in many African cultures, names carry meanings related to birth circumstances, family history, or blessings for the future. When someone carries a name with a rich background, it often instills a sense of duty and respect for their roots. That's exactly what I've been saying all this time. I've been talking. How about for you? And this is a study, Obing in 2001. Number three, the power of name stories. The power of name stories. Many people feel an emotional attachment to their names because of the stories behind them, whether named after a beloved grandparent, a historical figure, or a cherished word with deep significance. These narratives shape personal identity. For instance, someone named after a courageous ancestor might feel a greater sense of resilience. Meanwhile, individuals whose names were carefully chosen with love may feel a stronger connection to the family's history and values. And next, we go to how names affect self esteem and confidence. Number one, the impact of name appreciation on self worth. And I want to say this also. We were somewhere, this has been many years ago, and the person got up and said, I don't know why he said it, but this is what he said. My wife's name is what his last name was. And she ain't not gonna say she gonna not gonna have a maiden name in there. Her name is my name. This is what he was saying. So he was saying that she couldn't use her maiden name because she was married to him and she was going to use his name. Hey, that's okay. To each his or her own. That's your business. Okay? But he certainly said that out in the public. He sure said it. Number one, I don't know why he said it, but he said it. Number one, the impact of name appreciation on self worth. Liking one's own name has been linked to higher self esteem. Research indicates that when individuals have positive associations with their names, they tend to exhibit greater confidence and self acceptance. And this is a Twenge and Campbell research study in 2001. Now, on the other hand, people who dislike their names or frequently experience mispronunciations and tensing often and excuse me, I misread the word, I have to get it back. On the other hand, people who dislike their names or frequently experience mispronunciations and teasing often report feelings of embarrassment, frustration, or social anxiety. Studies suggest that these negative experiences can lead to lower self esteem and a decreased sense of belonging. And this is the Ellis and Beach study, 2019. Number two, the effect of name popularity on confidence. The effect of name popularity on confidence. And I want to tell you something about my papa down home in Clarksville. Papa could send to town, he could send to, and I'm going to tell you this story. So we were down home. Clarksville is down home to us, okay? Clarksville, Texas. And so we would go down every 2 weeks. We would go down and see mama's mother and stepdad and their family and daddy's mama and daddy. And so they lived in different communities, but every 2 weeks we went down home. And so daddy, he had a gun, he already always carried guns, so daddy was a little tipsy, when he go down home, he celebrate, mama be driving. Daddy was a little tipsy, and like he liked to be on the weekend, when we were traveling. Now he was sober up on Sundays, none of that stuff on Sundays, but on Saturdays, daddy he would get it right, what he called it. So when we were down there, we were down there on the road, and the sheriff would come by every now and then. Very seldom would you see them, but they, went up and down the roads and everything. And so Daddy happened to want to shoot his gun up in the air that night, and by golly gee, the sheriff was out in the area, so they took Daddy to jail. Now talking about names and the effect of names, and so we went to town. Papa and Grandma lived in town then. Yeah, they had moved to town, and so Papa called the police station. This is Sam Polk. He called the police station and told them to let my boy out of jail, and I'll come down there and pay you tomorrow. Daddy came walking down the railroad track talking about a name. Oh, yes, talking about a name. That's why names are so important. Some people just don't understand. A good name is very important. And that is a scripture about that in the Bible. Having a common or well-known, well-liked name can sometimes provide a sense of social ease. People with familiar names uh, are more likely to be perceived as approachable and trustworthy. And this is another study in 1993. Conversely, individuals with highly unique or unconventional names may feel a stronger sense of individuality, but can also experience social challenges such as frequent corrections, or misunderstandings. However, research shows that people with unique names often develop stronger identities and higher resilience as they learn to assert their identities in different social settings. This is a 2010 study. Number three, name changes and personal reinvention. For individuals who feel disconnected from their birth names, changing their name can be a powerful act of self reinvention. This is particularly true for transgender individuals, adoptees, and those reclaiming ancestral names. Studies have shown that adopting a name that aligns with one's true identity can lead to improved mental well-being and self-confidence. And this is a study by Russell in 2018. Now I'm going to try to get through this. Names and worldview, how we see ourselves and others. Number one, the influence of names on personal identity. Our names help shape our worldview by reinforcing our place in the world. People with culturally significant names may feel more connected to their heritage, while those with names linked to inspirational figures may feel driven to embody those qualities. Number two, stereotypes and bias associated with names. Names can also shape how others perceive us. Didn't I talk about that? Studies have shown that certain names carry societal biases affecting everything from job opportunities to social interactions. And this is a study from 2004. Now, these biases can in turn shape how individuals see themselves, especially if they experience discrimination or stereotyping based on their names. Number three, how names affect our interactions with others. Because names are one of the first things we learn about someone, they can influence first impressions. Research suggests that people subconsciously form opinions about others based on name associations, including assumptions about personality, intelligence, and social background. Didn't I say it? That's a 2012 study. This means that a name can open or close doors, affecting how people navigate social spaces and relationships. Now, the conclusion is, and if I go over, please, would you bear with me? This is the conclusion here, talking about a name. Do you pay attention to, what people, how they say your name, how they pronounce your name, and how often do they mispronounce, and their intentions and all of that? You have to be really, really sharp. Okay, and we're not dummies, none of us. We're not naive. No. Conclusion, embracing the power of names. Our names are more than just words. They are powerful symbols of identity, self-worth, and connection. Whether we love our names, struggle with them, or choose new ones, the emotional ties we form with them shape our confidence, our social interactions, and worldview. Recognizing the significance of names can lead to greater self awareness and appreciation for the diverse naming traditions that exist across cultures. In the end, a name is not just something we are given, it is something we carry, define, and make our own. That's it. Oh my goodness, this is eznamechange.com. I love you all so much. Thank you. And talk to me. Let me know how you feel about this topic, and give me your ideas on some other topics, and just give me how you feel about this. Okay, I love you so much. And I didn't have to go over. Thank you so much for being with me. Tomorrow is the Mother's Board Inc., God willing, at 1 p.m. I love you so much. And don't forget this weekend, 7:39 p.m. Saturday and 7 o'clock a.m. Sunday. Enjoy the remainder of your day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, midday.